if you could say who you are, where you're from, and your question.
Absolutely. Ram Nagarajan, unaffiliated at the moment. My question is whether you can comment on the sales process and the sales cycle of selling an open source based solution versus proprietary solution. Are there distinct differences in the sales process and the sales cycle versus your proprietary competitors, or is it pretty much the same, same process, same cycle time?
Sure, I'll take a first crack at that. It starts with the core economic model of most companies that they're tied to open source, which relates, they're tied to projects, open source projects, and the fundamental economics in the proprietary world historically have been perpetual license base with a tail of maintenance. And so you have an initial big bump. It's a big capital bump, big cash bump. You sell a license, you make a lot of money, and then you get maintenance over time. And for a proprietary vendor, that money, that's a big, the cost, you immediately offset your cost of sales, and you can use that extra cash and capital to invest heavily in that selling motion, put more people on the street, and put more kind of more total resource against that type of opportunity. And so we tend to see in the commercial proprietary world, far more investment early, because in the open source model, we don't have quite those economics, don't work the same way. So we rely on a different set of kind of pattern of engagement. We offer software for download for free, and we try to provide more information early so that the customers and the prospects can kind of consume the technology and move themselves through a process independent of kind of the full investment of a commercial model. So it puts a different, kind of puts a different priority on the early engagement model before you really bring kind of what I'll call enterprise sales to the table. And I also think I would say put a relatively higher priority on technical value add early, which is where the conversation really starts, because companies are trying to sort out big technical questions, and as much as you put sales guys in front of that, the truth is what most people want is the kind of help that guys like Chris and Michael can give them early in the process, more than sales guys might be able to give them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. It's certainly in the Valley here, the sales cycle might be a little different because it is open source, and we find a lot of the customers have already engaged with the upstream communities and are already using the technology sometimes by the time we show up. And so it's a different discussion for not necessarily, hey, we use this technology because it solves a business or a technical need. Instead, what is the value we add on top of the upstream community to successfully and reliably to be able to deploy open source in the enterprise. And so that's a little bit of a different discussion that we have because the technology in a lot of cases is already in the hands of the user.
Right. Michael, any to add to that?
Not really, because we are pure services play. We don't have a product, so the sales cycle is more or less the same as the services. But we see the same Chris just mentioned. Most of the time, the prospects or the leads come in because people already used the software. They downloaded it, they installed it, they tried it out, and they just came so far, and then they need help.